19 minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. This is an engineering test broadcast from Radioactivity on 103.5. This is an engineering test broadcast from Radioactivity on 103.5 megahertz VHF FM. We will be continuing to approximately 5 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock. Then we will be changing frequency to 103.8. You're currently tuned to a frequency of 103.5 megahertz VHF FM. This is Radioactivity. In a few moments' time, we will be vacating this frequency due to mutual interference caused to our transmissions by Intercity Radio based in Gallywood. Therefore, at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock, our engineers will be changing frequency 3 channels HF to 103.8 megahertz VHF, 103.8 megahertz VHF FM. We invite you to join us in a few moments' time on 103.8 megahertz VHF FM for the continuing transmissions through until 7 o'clock this evening of Radioactivity. It's John Duncan.
At the third stroke, it will be 5 o'clock precisely.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your listening pleasure out there on the galactic airwaves, we bring you live
Steve Allen.
Steve Allen Show on Radioactivity. He plays all the blue and I like it like that. Let Steve Allen on Radioactivity ring your bell every Sunday between 5 and 6.
From the new Christmas album, Now That's What I Call Christmas, that's Mr. Christa Burr and A Spaceman Came Travelling. It's 15 seconds away from 5:30 on Radioactivity, and we have our letter. We have a letter. It came flooding in, hear that? Comes from a gentleman by the name of Dave Bullock, and Dave lives at 96 Quantock, Chichester Road, Southend-on-Sea. And very nice letter, Dave. Thanks very much indeed for writing in. We do appreciate it. Hopefully you've received our reply by now. Dave's letter says, Dear Radioactivity, hello to you all. I picked you up for the first time last week on 103.55 megahertz. A digital tuner with an FM stereo mute button, eh, Dave? You can't fool us. How long have you been going? Well, hope you now know the answer. Just over 3 years. The above signal is very strong here, the 14th floor of Quantock Flats in central Southend. Is your aerial on our roof? No, Dave. Sometimes we wonder whether it's still on ours, actually. I can't get any of your other frequencies, FM or AM. No, neither can I, Dave. Don't worry about that. Could you please send me a car sticker, as I'm sure you need a little publicity, and that's all we do get, Dave, is a little publicity, as most people are ignorant of your existence. Please send any information on the station. Keep up the good work. Right, if John Duncan's listening, I'll read out the last paragraph, or the next paragraph in a moment, John, so make sure you're standing by the microphone, because this is going to cost you money, mate. No wonder he's resigning. Someone wins his competition and he gives up. Please say hello to my wife, Karen. Hello, Karen, and my daughter, Louise, and son, Andrew. So hello to Louise and son, Andrew. I used to pick up South London Radio, Kent North Radio, JFM, Horizon, London Weekend, Radio Atlantis, all on FM, and years ago used to listen to Radio Jackie and North London Radio. Good luck to you in the future. Long live free radio. Yours faithfully, Dave Bullock. Once again, thanks very much indeed, Dave. We did appreciate receiving that letter. That's the only contact we have with our listeners, so that was very, very nice of you. Right, if we go over to Studio 1 now, I wonder whether we've got, my word, we've got a buzz there. I wonder whether we've got John Duncan with us.
Yes, we're here. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, loud and clear. Right, are you ready for this? Have you got your hand in your wallet?
Well, I don't know quite, so I haven't really got my wallet in the studio this afternoon with me. I left it behind.
Did you really?
Yes.
Right, well, one of the paragraphs of Dave's letter, which was very nice to receive, I'm sure you'll agree.
Yes, indeed.
It says, in your competition, was Funky Nassau by the beginning of the end? I have this record, worse condition than yours, I love that, but it's in my parents' attic, so I can't check. So, was the gentleman correct?
He was indeed, and congratulations there to Dave Bullock at 96 Quantock in Southend. Yes, it was beginning of the end, and yes, it was Funky NASA. So we shall be sending you, or I shall be sending you, a prize in the next couple of days there, Dave, all right? And, well, just because I'm giving up next week, I hope that you'll still keep tuned to Radioactivity.
What is the prize? Do you know yet?
I think I'll send him a nice record token because this time of the year, there's plenty of good stuff about the charts, and well, why not? I think unless because he's got any other ideas. I mean, I can't send a mini Metro or anything like that through the post.
No, that's true. Okay, well, thanks very much indeed, John. We'll see you round about 6 o'clock, I do believe.
Okay, Steve. Keep up the good work.
Cheers, matey.
Bye.
Okay, Dave. As John said, there'll be a record token on its way to you in the next few days, and that's our first surprise. Here's our second one.
Radio Jackie, the sound of Southwest London.
From their album, The Hollies Live Hits, they were the Hollies, and one of my favourite tracks from that album, that one's called Sandy, and went out especially to Sandy in Southchurch. I'd like to say good afternoon now to Tom, who's just phoned us. Very good afternoon, Tom. Also to Pam, and also your friends from Roxwell, Doug and June. Very good afternoon. Look at that, an instant dedication here on Radioactivity. And also, if John Duncan's still listening, remind me round about the top of the hour, John, to just pass a message to you from Tom. Something he heard quite dismayed him just now. So I've got a message to you, John, from Tom. It's Radioactivity. After this next one, we'll be having Two for Activity's Amorous Interlude.
It's that man again, Steve Allen. Listen to him every Sunday at 5 o'clock on Radioactivity.
You can take the hurt anymore. That's Mr. Cliff Richard from his album Love Songs, and that one's called, would you believe, Can't Take the Hurt Anymore, and I've been driving people mad with that. Right, it's coming up to 1 minute after the hour of 6 o'clock. I've overrun. Apologies to John Duncan. Is John Duncan there, I wonder?
Oh, hello.
Love it.
Can't say on the whole, I can't take the hurt anymore. Yes. Good evening.
You like that record, do you?
Yes, Cliff Richard. 20 Love Songs album, yes?
That's right.
Yes.
I've been singing that one over and over and again, just that line, Can't Take the Hurt Anymore, and I finally found out what it was. And obviously that's why it's stuck in my brain, you see, because it does sort of tend to repeat quite a few times. I'm sorry, I've pinched some of your programme again,
You
haven't
usually
I?
do. I take that as
Yes.
nothing different, is it?
The trouble is, I've still got about 10 records here. I think I was a little bit over-optimistic this week when I chose them. I've still got about 10 records here that I wanted to get through.
Oh, well, you've already ruined one of mine anyway. I'll have to knock one off, won't I?
Oh, have I played it?
No.
Oh.
But by the time you get off the air, I mean, there's one less for me, isn't it?
Anyway, we had a call earlier on.
Yes.
From Tom.
Oh, good evening to Tom.
And Tom is absolutely heartbroken. He's devastated to think that next week will be the last that he hears from you.
Oh, I can't believe that, really. Oh, well, that's nice. If he that's nice. It's nice of him to
that is
ring
true. He actually called through to say he couldn't believe it when I said, that because it's cost you a £5 for a record token. That,
No,
that's
it was decided well before then.
Oh, I know. But perhaps we can have a chat, because even if 90.3 is going to leave, well, perhaps we can still occasionally secure the services of John Duncan.
Well, we'll see, eh? Right, OK. Well, thanks so much for days for a nice programme.
That's right. Who's doing the weather on your programme? Is it you or
You
me?
are, because I haven't even got it. The studio is in such a blooming mess, mate. I can't even find the records. Don't worry about it. I mean, looks like the bombs hit it at the moment.
Yeah, well, it might do. Who knows? OK, I'll see you around about 6:30.
Okay.
Sorry for overrunning. Bye
That's
to
all right.
everybody.
Cheers there, Steve. Bye for now.
What's a nice man like you doing in a place like this?
Yes, you've got a good point, mate. Hello, welcome from the hairy monster John Duncan for the next, 57 and a bit minutes, I suppose, to take us up to 7 o'clock. I thought today, I'd do something a little bit different. I thought I'd play some of my favourite tracks on the Tamla Motown side of things. Tracks taken from the 70s and the 60s. So let's away with the Four Tops, eh? It's released on the 13th of December 1967. It was in the charts for 11 weeks, and the highest position it got in that chart was number 3. The Four Tops, Tamla Motown Sound, and Walk Away, Renee. Got 7 minutes after 6 o'clock on the old studio clock. Radioactivity 90.3 and 103.8. Tamla Motown music, some of my favourites, backtracking over the years with yours truly, John Duncan, through till 7 o'clock. The penultimate programme, as Steve Allen mentioned earlier. Now we take a track from 68, released on the 20th of November, Diana Ross and the Super Supremes, 14 weeks in the charts, and the highest position it got was number 15, Love Child.
You think that I don't feel love, but what I feel for you is real love. In others' eyes I see reflected, I hurt, scorned, rejected, love child. Never meant to be, love child. Born in poverty, love child. Never meant to be, love child.
Yes, only the best for the very best. The listener to Radioactivity. 10 minutes after 6 o'clock, the 15th of December, 1985. Where has this year gone? Diana Ross and the Super Supremes giving out with Love Child.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your listening pleasure out there on the galactic airwaves, we bring you live John Duncan.
Yes, and welcome along to Radioactivity.
All right, John?
Yes, I'm all right, mate. How are you? Good on you.
John Duncan.
At 96 Quantock Southend. And I will be sending you, as you won the competition last week there, Dave, and it was beginning of the end with Funky NASA, of course, as you rightly said. We'll send you something nice in the post next couple of days or so, a record token or something like that.
All hit radio.
Yes, Radioactivity 90.3 and 103.8 this afternoon. The Avenue, Featherby Road, Gillingham in Kent. Brings you a weekend special every Friday and Saturday evenings. All starts from 7 p.m. through till 1 a.m. There's a guest DJ every Friday and Saturday just for £2. The very best of entertainment. Good music, good food, and good drinking too. Down at the Avenue, Featherby Road in Gillingham. That's Kent. Telephone a Medway number for further information. 0634 376 834. Get those bookings right now on 0634 376 834. And why not tell them that you heard all about the Avenue here on
Radioactivity.
We'll see you there, all right?
Are you fed up with decorating that kitchen or bathroom?
The best music on Radioactivity on 90.3.
Okay, if we're very, 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 very good, we might get 2 more records in. Oh, well, isn't it amazing how the old time does go by when you're enjoying yourself? There we are, the last one on the John Duncan programme this very evening on Radioactivity 90.3 and 103.8 VHF FM. Farewell is a Lonely Sound. That was released on the 20th of February 1970, was 16 weeks in the charts, and the highest position that particular record got was at number 8. Well, it's almost time for us to close broadcasting. I hope that you've enjoyed the music on 90.3 since 12 noon and on 103.8 since 3 o'clock this afternoon. I hope now that I have Steve Allen's company on the other end of the telephone link. Are you there, Steve?
I am. Oh dear, excuse me.
Coughing better?
Hello. What's gone wrong? Why can't I hear myself?
You can hear. I can hear you.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
I can't hear me.
Oh, well, don't worry. You're coming through all right, mate, anyway.
Oh, jolly good.
Would you like to say your farewells?
Yes, just like, this is rather strange. I can't hear a thing this end.
Oh, well, don't worry about it.
Yes, just like to thank everybody for listening, and to remind them that we'll be back next Sunday at 3 o'clock at the latest. That's better, I can hear myself now. 3 o'clock at the latest, and we have some special Christmas programmes lined up. We don't know what we've got lined up yet, do we?
We don't, do we?
No, but the only definite thing is between 4 and 5, it's the Barry Young Rock Show.
Yes. I think 5 and 6 it's your particular programme, and then mine between 6 and 7. But we might do a sort of a joint thing earlier before Barry's. We'll work on it during the week, perhaps, eh?
Yes, perhaps we can do something between 3 and 5.
OK, jolly good.
Are you going down the House of Vertical Refreshment tonight?
I don't know yet, mate. I'm not too sure. As I went down there last night, I don't want to become another one of you, do I?
Thank you very much.
That's all right. There can't be 2 of us. Good help us, Ma.
One's enough.
All right, mate.
Cheers, John.
I'll look forward to your pleasure next week, mate.
Bye for now.
Cheers. Thanks for listening. And thank you very much indeed there to Steve Allen for coming in on the last of Radioactivity's broadcasts at the moment. So we'll be on the air next Sunday on 90.3 and 103.8. Now all that remains from me, yours truly, John Duncan, is take care of yourselves, have a good week, and if you're out there driving tonight, well, take care of yourselves, be very, very careful driving, because we want to talk to you, not about you. Radioactivity is now closing down. If you're a country and western fan, you may want to listen to 90.3 this Tuesday coming, the 17th of December at 7:30 through till 10 o'clock with 2.5 hours of the very best in country and western music for the very last time here on Radioactivity on a Tuesday. Can promise you some real great old country and western classics. Really did myself a flavour in the last couple of hours this morning. I dug out some real good old country albums, so play those on 903 for the last time this Tuesday at 7:30. In the meantime, on behalf of Steve Allen and yours truly, John Duncan, we're down, we're gone, bye-bye, till next week. Thanks for listening, and tell a friend that you've been listening to Radioactivity on the megahertz that matter, 90.3 of them and 103.8 of them. The continuing sound of free radio. Take care, we love you, bye for now.
Radio.
If you never call on them, your best friend station.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Radioactivity, broadcasting on 90.3 and 103.5 megahertz VHF FM. It's 4 o'clock on 90.3. It's yours truly, John Duncan, playing you Christmas music all the way through till 5 o'clock, when our normal scheduled broadcasts take the air, with Steve Allen at 5 o'clock through till 6, and then yours truly back on the airwaves between 6 and 7 o'clock. Our 103.5 transmitter, however, will be altering about 4:30 to 103.7 megahertz VHF FM. And in about 10 minutes' time, we understand our 103.5 transmitter will be offering you a different kind of music. So stay here on 90.3 if you want the continuing sound of the festive music through till 5. On 103.5, a varied selection of transmissions. Radioactivity, a very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon. The time is 16 and a half minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock. You're listening to Radioactivity, broadcasting on 103.5 megahertz of VHF FM. In a few seconds' time, we will in fact be slightly changing frequency to 103.7. Radioactivity on 103.5 will be changing frequency at the end of this piece of music to 103.7. That will mean a very, very slight adjustment, HF. That'll probably be to the right on your radio dial. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, 103.7, as we will then be on, links up with 90.3, and between 5 and 6 we present the Steve Allen Music Show, and then between 6 and 7 we have John Duncan. So do stay tuned to 90.3 or 103.7 for the sound of Radioactivity. In a few seconds' time, this transmission on 103.5 will be changing slightly HF to 103.7 of VHF FM. You're listening to Radioactivity, broadcasting live on a frequency of 103.5 megahertz of VHF FM. Over the next 1 or 2 minutes, our engineers will be slightly changing our frequency, and we will be changing to 103.7 megahertz of VHF FM. We suggest that you stay where you are for approximately 1 to 2 minutes, and then music will recommence, and you will find that your radio will be slightly off tune. If you tune slightly to the right on most radios, tune slightly HF, you will find Radioactivity. Please stay with us. We will be back on your radio dial on our new frequency of 103.7 megahertz of VHF FM in just a moment.
It's the Steve Allen Show, Radioactivity, for the golden oldies with the golden oldie.
anybody from ICR Intercity Radio is listening, we wish you all the best, lads, but any chance of our frequency back, please? Because we don't run lots of power.
You ask me if I love you, and I choke on my reply. I'd rather hurt you honestly than mislead you with a lie. And who am I to judge you on what you say or do? I'm only just beginning to see the real you. And sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much, and I have to close my eyes and hide. I wanna hold you till I die, till we both break down and cry. I wanna hold you till the fear in me subsides. Romance and all its strategy leaves me battling with my pride. But through the insecurity, some tenderness survives. I'm just another writer, still trapped within my truth, a hesitant prize fighter, still trapped within my youth. And sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much, and I have to close my eyes and hide. I wanna hold you till I die, till we both break down and cry. I wanna hold you till the fear in me subsides. At times I'd like to break you and drag you to your knees. At times I'd like to break through and hold you endlessly. And sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much, and I have to close my eyes and hide. I wanna hold you till I die, till we both break down and cry. I wanna hold you till the fear in me subsides.
2 records there for Activity's Amorous Interlude. First of all, Mr. Ronnie Dyson, and When You Get Right Down to It, Isn't This Moment What It's All About, Girl? And we followed that up with a classic, It's the Way I Tell 'Em, from Mr. Dan Hill, and that one was called Sometimes When We Touch. Thank goodness this isn't television.
Steve Allen does things to me. Not often.
Right, let's say good afternoon now to the gentleman from Quantock Flats in Southend. Our office has got your letter, sir. Unfortunately, it hasn't reached the studio in time, so I can't answer it over the air in full. But if you make sure you're tuned in next week, we will say hello to you.
Yes, and as Steve Allen was saying to us earlier, there hasn't been many good things go for radioactivity today, one way or another. It's all been happening since early this morning in both studios. And we had to make some transmitter alterations right at the last minute before coming onto the air. Rather a sneaky move on 103.5 from ICR. Naughty lads. All right. Yes, and with the Eagles taking it to the limit, that's about our limit, because it's just about 1 or so minutes to 7 o'clock. Yours truly, John Duncan, been playing you the music. Hope that you've been enjoying it for the last hour. Well, before we close broadcast, we'll link up, I believe, with our number 2 studio, and I'll play a jingle to introduce the voice of you-know-who.
Steve Allen.
Yes.
Thank you very
Steve.
much. Hello.
Oh, you're ready then, mate.
What, ready for what?
closed down.
Oh, yes. I'm about ready. I've got matchsticks, mate, propping my eyes up here. It's incredible.
Never mind, mate. Well, we have had ourselves a reasonable ball, haven't we?
Well, I don't know, have we?
Well, it was not single. It's not plural, is it?
it's yeah. Talking about spherical objects, it seems to have been one cock up from beginning to end, really.
Yes. What happened to 103.5 then?
These intercity radio have pinched it, but we're going to drop them a little letter and see whether we can have it back.
All right. Right, I make it coming up to 7 o'clock in studio number 2.
We're not going to have 2 sets of pips this week, are we?
No, we're not going to get any from this end.
Oh.
I've just got the pip with the equipment. The generators are bubbling away here, everything. So, well, it's I presume it's been transmitting. I hope I haven't been talking myself for the last hour.
Oh, let's forget about the pips. Hang on. Pip, pip, pip. Yes, that's about it. Cheers, John.
Okay, mate. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week, yeah?
Yeah, bye for now.
Cheers. Yes, join Steve Allen on this frequency, 90.3 and 103. Something next Sunday, all right? Broadcasting live music from the Silver Star every weekend between 5 and 7 o'clock. It's your hallmark of quality station, Radio Activity. We're now closing down broadcasts. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to your company next Sunday. If you're around on a Tuesday evening, just on 90.3 FM, you may want to wander and listen to 2.5 hours of nice, easy listening country and western music. See you then. We're now closing down. Good night.
Our friends, if you never called on them, your best friend station.
Okay, a little bit of seasonal music coming up now, and this is from a new album starring Michael Martin Murphy, and this is called The Cowboys Christmas Ball. We've got some non-stop music for 10 minutes or so stick around here on the countryside of 90.3. Well, as I said earlier, this is the last Radio Activity Tuesday get-together on FM and on the countryside of things, and just sort of looking down. We've been on the air some 3 years and 2 months when Steve Allen and I first started off Crouch Valley Radio, and then about sort of 6 months after that we've been Radio Activity ever since. And as I say, Sundays is the usual time on Activity. As from this Sunday, 90.3 and 103.8. extended broadcasts, and then as from the 29th of December it will be just then on 103.8 only. Okay, the 90.3 transmitter I should say is being put to rest. So 8:15, John Duncan playing new music, and right now I've got a lovely album in front of me, Miss Sanya Tucker. Activity 90.3, the sound of the South. You're tuned to Radio Activity, the sound of free radio on your dial, 90.3 FM. We're here till 10 o'clock this evening, as we are every Tuesday. But unfortunately, if you just tuned in, this is the very last Radio Activity on 90.3 on FM for a Tuesday evening. And John Duncan going down as from this Sunday here on Activity. But please join us on 103.8 and 90.3 for our special programmes next Sunday.
Are you fed up with this?
90.3, it's Radio Activity.
The best music, the best music, the best music.
The best music on Radio Activity on 90.3. Don't miss it.
Don't forget the regular scheduled broadcasts every Sunday between 5 and 7 o'clock, usually on 90.3 and 103.8, and for the very last time on 90.3 this Sunday. Right, Radio Activity, 25 minutes to 9. Don't forget the mailing address of Activity, and that's number 58, Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. That's Radio Activity, number 58, Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. Also, good evening to Dave Bullock at number 96 Quantock. If you're listening to us there, Dave, a record token is in the post to you for winning our competition the other week, so you hopefully should get that in the next day or so. Right, moving on now, let's say hello to Tom the Cole, I should say John the Cole, and his lovely wife Jenny and the family there. And not forgetting Tony Crazy Legs Crane. Here's Miss Patsy Cline to sing. Good evening. 13 and a half minutes before 9 o'clock. It's Activity 90.3.
Easy listening from Radio Activity 90.3.
1 minutes after 9 with John Duncan.
John Duncan.
That's right.
Betty and me, we always listen to Radio Activity 90.3. Nice.
That's nice to know.
The best music, the best music.
The best music on Radio Activity on 90.3.
Okay, we've got about 3/4 of an hour to go. Let's make the most of it.
John Duncan, he drives me crazy, absolutely crazy. 90.3.
Yes. Okay, well, I won't be driving you crazy for much longer, mate.
Radioactivity would like to hear from you at our mailing address, 58 Cortlands Drive, Ewell, Surrey.
Good evening.
Well, we've got just over half an hour to go. What did you think of that last piece of music then?
Seems like a nice record.
You enjoyed it, that's good. Nice to know that. Right, okay, don't forget the mailing address, Radioactivity, number 58, Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. Good, I'm pleased about that. Right, let's move on.
John Duncan.
Good evening.
Hello there, welcome. If you just tuned in, we've got 22 minutes to go through till 10. Here's a golden old and dusty dish from Cobweb Corner, digging down deep into Duncan's dungeon. Jody Miller, all about the Sea of Heartbreak.
All the very best in top entertainment. You've got the name, it's Radioactivity. You've got the numbers, it's 90.3.
Radioactivity 90.3.
Yes, classic track from Boxcar Willie.
While you're out here, I'd like to do a song. Take this job and shove it. Wouldn't you like to hear that?
I'm afraid we haven't got time, Boxcar. Thanks, mate.
903.
We opened transmission some weeks back on a Tuesday evening on Radioactivity 90.3. The very first record that I played was the one I'm going out with on the very last one, Little Jimmy Dickens. Yes, and there it was, a track from 1966 that started Radioactivity on a Tuesday evening, and it finished it the same way. From 66 on CBS, Little Jimmy Dickens, an old classic, May the Bird of Paradise Fly Up Your Nose. Just after 10 o'clock, yours truly, John Duncan, saying I hope that you've enjoyed the last 2.5 hours here on Radioactivity. Don't forget the mailing address, will you, because we are still continuing broadcasts on a Sunday between 5 and 7 o'clock. But this week we should be on a little bit earlier, so get the old dial tuned into 90.3 for the last time, and also 103.8 this Sunday. Join Steve Allen, yours truly, and Barry Young, and we could have a few more things happening as well. We're hopefully having a good time on Sunday. Well, it's time for us to close now, so if you are out there driving, take care. And the roads are not too good because it's pouring of rain on and off, I understand. So, well, take good care of yourselves. Look forward to your company on Radioactivity this Sunday coming. Thanks very much indeed for listening. Radioactivity is now closing down. Cheers for now.
Good night, and save a kiss for me.
So if he's there, I'll try and say hello to Steve Allen. Are you there, Steve?
Yes, I'm here. A little bit of feedback and distortion there, I do believe.
I think we're all right now.
Yeah, tell it's your last day, can't we?
Why's that?
Oh, well,
is it worse?
I thought you sort of, licensed to kill.
Well, what is it? 903, the final conflict, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
Okay, I'll leave it to you there, Steve.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. You're listening to Radioactivity 103.8 and 90.3. Just like to remind you, in a few seconds' time, it's the Barry Young Rock Show at 4 o'clock to take you through until 5. And then between 5 and 6, it's yours truly, Steve Allen. And then between 6 and 7, it's the John Duncan and Steve Allen Extravaganza. You're tuned to Radioactivity. As many of you may already know, today is John Duncan's last day with us here at Radioactivity. Needless to say, all of us concerned with the station, the DJs, the engineers and the office staff are very sad to see John go. And I know from the listeners that I've spoken to so far that they share my sentiments. However, with your help, we may be able to persuade John Duncan to stay with the station. If you would like to continue to hear the John Duncan programme on a Sunday afternoon from Radioactivity, please pledge your support by writing to the Bring Back John Duncan campaign, Radioactivity, 58 Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. It's Barry Young.
Well, I think Steve's ready. He's got to get rid of some of that beer, I'm not too sure. Anyway, happy Christmas. Over to Steve.
Thanks very much indeed, Barry. Be with you in a moment.
Hello, this is Julie. My Sundays just won't be the same without John Duncan.
So about John Duncan leaving the station, I shall be getting the sack. I've totally forgotten all about the adverts this afternoon. From her first solo album, that's Anushka Fox. And her backing group also go by the name of Fox, and that one was called Climb Upon the Love Ship. It's coming up to 24 and a half minutes before the hour of 6 o'clock. Don't forget at 6 o'clock I will be joined by John Duncan, as it's John's last day, or so he thinks, here on Radioactivity. We'll be having a little get-together between 6 and 7, and anything could happen. We'll be having some more of our famous It'll Be Alright on the Night outtakes, but out of respect for the person concerned, we won't be overdoing that.
Steve Allen.
Okay, and talking of John Duncan, hopefully if we turn this other little fader up here, have we got John Duncan on the other end?
Well, I hope so. Good afternoon, Steve.
Yeah, good afternoon.
You're making me feel really bad, you know.
Well, so you should.
Oh.
I think you're a rotter.
I think I'm a rotter too. Thank you to everybody who's put their little sentiments in. I've been listening with earphones a hoist, as they say, and I've been enjoying the programme. Barry's programme was very good. Sorry to hear you still got a cold.
That's all right, don't you worry. You just keep on talking, I've just got to go and do something, all right?
Oh, I'll pull the chain for you if you like, but I haven't got that one lined up.
No, it's not that. I've got to go and
Oh, fine, OK. All right, he's gone away for a moment. Right, it's John Duncan on Radioactivity for the last programme between now and 7 o'clock. Harry's back again on 90.3 for the last time and 103.8. You with us yet?
Yes, I've come back. Sorry, I had to turn the tape over. Sorry about
Live
that.
radio business.
Have you got a record lined up?
I certainly have, sir.
Oh, I'm glad you have, because I haven't.
All right. Well, we've not actually planned this, have we? So
No.
I reckon it...
For those people who haven't listened to one of our sort of joint efforts before...
In two different studios.
They are something. We've never done this in different studios, though, have we?
No, we haven't, actually. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm not having that. That's better. Right, now listen, don't titter. No, if I play one and you play one, or I'll play something funny or something, you'll play something funny, we'll go from there.
That's right. Yes, just don't forget when you're playing one to turn your fader down, though, will you?
Oh, and the same to you, dear.
Yes, right, ours will have Hal round. So you're going to play the first one, are you?
I will indeed.
OK, take
I'll
it away.
see you later. Bye for now. Bye.
John Duncan.
Well, you know, I did miss a good function this week. I missed out on Rambo's wedding.
Now do you, Sylvester Stallone, take this woman to be thy lawful wedded wife? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that, Mr. Stallone. Look, it's not difficult. It's written on the idiot board. You see. What about you, Brigitte? Do you take this man to be thy lawful wedded husband? Oh, never mind. Look, all you have to do is sign the register. Or just make a cross if it's easier. But Mr. Stallone, take your gloves off first. Well, I guess that'll have to do. You may now kiss the bride. Oh, Lord, you do work in a mysterious way.
Shells that bounce right off his head. And the A stands for the anti-tank gun he cuddles up in bed.
Oh, my little anti-tank gun.
Well, that's for macho, but we all take that as red. Rambo, the very name spits lead. The B, that's as in boxing. Remember Rocky 3.
Oh, great movie.
The O's are like those line of zeros on the big guy's massive feet. Yes, Rambo stands for action. Rambo stands for butch. Just pity those guys with the slanty eyes. He don't like them very much.
I don't like them at all.
That's Rambo. That's really Rambo.
Hey, get those guys to chant my name out again. I love that.
Rambo.
Come on, you guys, all together. 1,
Really
2.
Rambo.
What comes after 2?
That Ronnie thinks he's fine. The reason's very simple.
His acting's worse than mine.
With his muscles all a ripple and always in the pink. Respected anthropologists claim that he's the missing link. He's a devil when he's angry, but there's nothing makes him meaner than being mistaken by some jerk for Arnold Schwarzenegger. The R is for the rage he's got that makes him kill and maim. And the A is for another chance to go do it all again.
Yes, sir.
M is for the mother who gave him that awful name.
Awful name?
Rambo.
Hey, that's a cute name.
Rambo. B is for the beatings that he likes to give and take. And the O is the sound of the cry of pain that only sissies make. Yes, Rambo stands for rugged. Rambo stands for mean. Rambo stands for the stars and stripes, but never for a queen.
Right.
That's Rambo.
You better believe it.
That's really Rambo.
That's me. Do that shotgun again.
Sweatband so that nobody can see the scars he bears upon his head from a frontal lobotomy. Huh? What's that? There's no doubt he's a monster superstar. Who cares about those critics who claim he goes too far? What are those guys Just let them heed this warning amidst all that blood and gore. Hey, don't go knocking Rambo. Right. You ain't seen Rocky IV. What does that With mean? His body always gleaming and the sweat that makes it glow. Oh, you like that, No wonder when he passes, people all say, there goes old Rambo. Rambo. Hey. What's that smell, Rambo? That's for body odor, isn't it? Well, you dirty son of a... What kind of a crack is that? Really? Rambo. Listen, all I wanted is for you...
Yes, getting us together on the John Duncan show this afternoon, or now this evening at 9 minutes after 6 o'clock. Yeah, story all about Rambo.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean, on the John Duncan show? You've forgotten all about me.
Oh, you, yes. Hold on now, what's the name? Oh, blimey, it began with a S, didn't it?
Yeah, stupid, I think.
Steve, that's it, Steve Allen. Oh, yes.
Actually, there's somebody here who wants to ask you a question.
Oh, yes.
Hello, this is Tim. What's all this about you leaving the radio station? Not on, is it?
Well, sorry, Tim. Click.
Oh, you heard that, did you?
Yes.
Never mind. It's 9.5 minutes after the hour of 6.
I know a fat old policeman, he's always on our street. A fat and jolly red-faced man, he really is a treat. He's too kind for a policeman, he's never known to frown. And everybody says he is the happiest man in town. He laughs upon Point Beauty, he laughs upon his feet. He laughs at everybody when he's walking in the street. He never can stop laughing, he says he's never tried. But once he did arrest a man and laughed until he cried. His jolly face it wrinkled, and then he shut his eyes. He opened his great mouth, it was a wondrous sight. He said, I must arrest you, he didn't know what for. And then he started laughing until he cracked his jaw. So if you chance to meet him when walking round the town, just shake him by his fat old hand and give him half a crown. His eyes will beam and sparkle, he'll gurgle with delight, and then you'll start him laughing with all his blessed might.
Oh, yes, I had nappies on. I don't think I was existing, actually, when that record first came out. I think that was back in the 40s, wasn't it? Charles Penrose. I probably even Steve Allen would remember that sort of record.
Well, actually, I was thinking that Barry Young would probably know. All we want now is for him to come walking in the door.
Yes. Well, anything's possible, listening to the Wombles on a rock show. Mind you, I suppose they were rocking Wombles, weren't they?
Well, he said they were the One Balls. That's what made me laugh.
I've just got a message for you.
Go on.
Want to buy a sexy postcard?
Good evening. John Duncan. John Duncan. Oh, it's John Duncan.
John Duncan.
Steve Allen on Radioactivity. Ring your bell every Sunday between 5 and 6.
As I say, it's not available in this country, but they also make a terrific version of Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town. It's 4.5 minutes before 7 o'clock, and it's back to Studio 2 with Steve Allen.
OK, well, we're very, very rapidly running out of time, and as it's your last day, I think you ought to close down the station. So I'll play my last record now. Just like to say to everybody that's listening, hope you've enjoyed the last, 3.5 hours? 4.5 hours? 4.5 hours, isn't it?
Yes, it is on this frequency and the other one as well.
On 103.8 anyway, and about 9 hours of 90.3. Just do remember that if you are tuned to 90.3, this is the last week that we're on this particular frequency, so if you are tuned to 90.3, do tune now to 103.8. I'll leave you with this record, and then I'll leave it in your very capable hands, John, to close the station down.
OK, Steve, well, before we go, it's been a ball, mate. It's been 3 years and, 4 months is it now? And we have come a long way since we first started it off, because it was a bit grotty in the early days, wasn't it? And we are getting quite a nice signal out now, but it is nice. It's been a ball, mate, and I wish you all the best. We'll see each other, obviously. It's not goodbye completely, but it's been a ball, and thanks to everybody for their kind sentiments and messages and everything.
OK, I'll see everybody, or hopefully I'll see some of you tonight. May see you, John. I'll play this one, and then I'll let you close the station down. Bye for now.
Cheers. And just after 7 o'clock, here on Radioactivity 90.3 for the last time and 103.8. Well, thanks very much for your support over the time, and thanks for listening to the sound of Radioactivity. It's been my ball, as I said to Steve a little while ago. We've had some laughs on it, and, well, you never know. Sometime, somewhere, sometime, you might hear my voice, even if it's only for jingles or something. Thanks very much for all your nice words. Everybody have a lovely Christmas and a happy New Year. And if you're out there driving, as we all say, we'll drive with care because we care. People like to talk to you, not about you. On behalf of Steve Allen and yours truly, Barry Young, thank you very much indeed to Barry there for his programme this afternoon. We'll leave you now and close the station. Thanks very much indeed for listening. Don't forget to join Steve Allen on 103.8 next Sunday, the 29th of December. All that remains now for me is I'm going to have myself a drink to clear my throat while this is playing out for the last time, and I'll see you sometime around. Thanks very much indeed for listening, but stay tuned, OK?
It's in the air for you and me. What good are friends if you never call on them? Your best friend station.
Good afternoon, you're tuned to 103.9 megahertz VHF FM. This is Radioactivity. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, the Steve Allen Show.
You ready now? 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 When I met you, you were too young to hang around where the hippies hung. Swing and dance where the swingers swung. Well, you're ready now, you're ready now, you're ready now, girl, you're ready now. You grew up fast, like overnight. You have changed, girl, you're out of sight. You wanna swing and dance all night. You're ready now, you're ready now, you're ready now, oh, you're ready now. You pick up quick, I knew you would. You move and groove just the way you should. You got that feel, you're learning good. Well, you're ready
to 103.9 megahertz VHF FM. This is Radioactivity. In 5 minutes' time, at the top of the hour, it's the Steve Allen Show. This is Radioactivity. The time is 5 o'clock.
It's that man again, Steve Allen. Listen to him every Sunday at 5 o'clock on Radioactivity.
Yes, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's that man again on your radio, Steve Allen, with you through until 7 tonight. 2 hours of me this afternoon. In the next 60 minutes, we've got all that's best in music, and do remember that every record is chosen especially with you in mind. Sunday the 29th of December 1985. It'll soon be 1986. Only 2 more days until the new year. And what sort of Christmas did you have? Hope you had an enjoyable one. 1986 as Radioactivity enters its 4th year of broadcasting. My word.
You're listening to the Steve Allen Show on Radioactivity.
We've got a winner!
Steve Allen.
It's the Steve Allen Show on Radioactivity. For the golden oldies with the golden oldie.
This weekend, where the good guys are.
Steve Allen.
And whilst we're on the subject of Monitor magazine, and just being a little bit serious just for a moment, it was with sincere, deep regret that we heard on the early hours of Tuesday morning of the death of Roland Parson, known affectionately to his friends for many, many years as Buster. Roland was the editor of Monitor magazine for some 15 years, and he died in the early hours of Tuesday morning from a heart attack. He'll be greatly missed. He was the uncrowned king of radio and a great personality. If you'd like details of Buster's funeral, then you can phone this number. It's a London number, 01989 3451. That's 01989 3451 for details of Buster's funeral. A collection is being made for the Radio Amateurs Invalid and Blind Club, which is a very, very worthy cause. So if you would like to contribute and send off a donation, no matter how small, to the Radio Amateurs Invalid and Blind Club, then you can send donations, care of Monitor magazine, which is 31 Avondale Road, Benfleet. That's Monitor magazine, 31 Avondale Road in Benfleet. We do understand that the magazine will be kept going by the sub-editor. That was Penelope Page. From all of us at Radioactivity to everybody concerned with Monitor magazine, we send our deepest sympathy and deep regret to all the family. And as a little token of appreciation for everything that Buster has done over the years, we play this, what must certainly be his favourite record of all time.
She really is fine.
1964 on the Decca record label, they were the Fortunes, and the theme tune of the world's most famous radio station, that was Caroline, and that went specially to the memory of Buster Pearson. He'll be greatly missed.
Steve Allen.
The time is exactly 1 minute after 6 o'clock. And for the next 60 minutes here on Activity, we have the sounds and the music of the 60s. Stay tuned, these are the Searchers.
Don't $1 if you want me, you take me for what I'm worth. You want me, you take me for what I'm worth.
Turn to the turntables of Radioactivity. We've got various things lined up for you between 6 and 7 every Sunday night. Early in the new year, we'll be having the return of the Barry Young Rock Show. That will be becoming a fairly regular feature here on Radioactivity, we hope. We've also got some speciality programmes coming up. We have the Reg and Gordon Show. That'll be something to look forward to, believe me. And we'll also be having some speciality artist programmes, so do stay tuned for 1986 to Radioactivity. Tuning around the VHF band trying to find the year's best-selling top singles, and you found us and you're wondering what the devil that's going on. Here's somebody to tell you all about it.
It's the Steve Allen Show on Radioactivity for the golden oldies with the golden oldie.
Radio Jackie, Southwest London, close enough to care.
On 242 meters in the medium wave band, this is Radio Scotland.
And right now we're going back to 1962. I said I'd get my own back. Got to number 5 in 1962, the Springfields, before Dusty Springfield went all panderised and went out on her own. And that one was called Island of Dreams, and you couldn't have words like that in songs these days, could you? Gay, crowded places. Sounds like the public bar of the Checkers to me.
Your tower of power.
Radio Jackie, the sound of Southwest London. Radio Jackie, the sound of Southwest London.
A tribute there to one of the most successful and famous land-based radio stations of the 60s. That was Radio Jackie. For the last 3 hours you've been listening to the programmes of Radioactivity coming your way live on 103.9 MHz VHF FM. We sincerely hope you've enjoyed our programmes and that you'll join us again next Sunday. 1986 will be upon us. Radioactivity will be entering its 4th year of broadcasting. Don't forget to continue to support the Bring Back John Duncan campaign. Please send your correspondence to Radioactivity, 58 Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey. The address for Radioactivity, for all dedications, requests and all your letters which we do enjoy receiving, is 58 Cortlands Drive, Ewell in Surrey.
It's in the air for you.
The time is 2 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. Radioactivity is now closing down. We wish you a most enjoyable Sunday evening and a pleasant week ahead. If you're going to be celebrating the new year, do have a good time. Do enjoy yourself. Please remember, don't drink and drive. On behalf of everybody connected with Radioactivity, that's Barry Young, Dave West, our engineers, our office staff, John Duncan. This is Steve Allen wishing you a very, very pleasant good evening. We look forward to your company again next Sunday at 3 o'clock. Sorry, at 4 o'clock. I'm going to put my feet up, make myself a cup of coffee, and then I'm off to work. Until then, it's bye from me, Steve Allen. Radioactivity is now closing down.
What good are friends if you never call on them? Your